Welcome to Goshen Prepping. Thanks for joining us. I want to talk about having the right foods when it comes to crapping in the fan. I mean, even if we're talking about just like natural disasters, not something hugely cataclysmic, we want to have, well, in my opinion, the best bang for your buck. And something I push all the time is stockpiling meats. I am huge on proteins. I'm huge on low carbs. And if crap hits the fan, I want to continue that diet as much or as long as I possibly can. And when it comes to stockpiling meats, of course, it is not something that's inexpensive. It gets quite pricey. I first off want to recommend that if you do stockpile meats, canning your own meat, like actually using a pressure cooker, actually canning it using a pressure canner, I should say, is the way you want to go. It is by far one of the most inexpensive ways to do it. You can can your own stuff, and the only thing you're paying for, practically speaking, is the pressure canner itself and the jars. Okay, but sometimes we want to do it simple. Really easy. And buying something from the store, I'll just go ahead and use Walmart as an example, makes it really easy on us because, if you're going to pressure can your own stuff, you have to get everything out. You have to know how to do it. You have to have the whatever. There's a lot of stuff to it, but which is easier? Do that or just go out and buy a can of chicken, for example. Now, what I want to get at in this video is talking about the best bang for your buck as far as what you need to buy. We're just going to use chicken as an example, but that's just one example out of obviously numerous meats that we could talk about. And I find lots of people jump right onto that freeze-dried bus. Okay, I'm all into freeze-drying it yourself at home. That's great. I mean, the freeze dryer itself is super expensive, and it does cost some electricity to make it run. If you have an oil pump, you have to have some oil for it. So it's not free by any means. But again, self-preservation at home is one thing, but sometimes it's easier just to buy, a can of chicken. But a lot of people going on that freeze-dried bus, go on the freeze-dried trends, a lot of people buy the actual, like August and Farms, for example, or some people get into Thrive Life, or you name it, because buying freeze-dried food in the number 10 cans is actually a really cool way. But is that the smartest way? Let's go ahead and start off with looking at simply just analysis of the two. Here we can see a 1 pound can of freeze-dried chicken breast chunks from Walmart. And again, it's just one example. You don't have to go necessarily August and Farms or even Walmart, but I just want to look at the cost analysis. I mean, $118. Holy moly. The prices have definitely gone up quite a bit for this, haven't they? But I want to take a look over here. Here's the chart I want to look at. In this can, it's a half a cup of dry chicken, and there's 15 servings per container. So obviously 7.5 cups of dry chicken. So how do you prepare it? Right down here. Take 2.5 cups of dry chicken, put the water, and it'll make approximately 1 pound of fresh chicken. So ultimately, here's what we see. 1 pound of dry chicken is $118. There's 15 servings. Each serving is a half a cup. So that 7.5 cups of dry chicken is going to be what's in the entire container. In other words, do the math, 3 pounds of chicken. After you actually take the 2.5 cups, put the water, reconstitute it, now you're looking at 3 pounds of chicken. 3 pounds of chicken in that can. And it doesn't seem like a whole lot, especially when you're looking at $118 for the can. That's $39 a pound for chicken. $39 a pound for chicken. So alternately, we can simply just look up chicken at Walmart, and we have all kinds of great value chicken breast, Swanson chicken breast, all kinds of prices for this. I mean, here, this one, just buying this can alone, is $4.74 a pound. And you may buy this chicken and say, wow, $1.47 for this little can is expensive, but not compared to looking at the chicken that's freeze-dried. Or even more so, if you get a 2-pack, it's $3.83 a pound. Continuing down, we can see you can buy a whole case of this, and it's $35. So if you buy the 2-pack of chicken, that comes out to be $3.83 a pound. Or if you buy that giant case, I mean, it's not huge, obviously, $3.77 a pound. And I know a lot of people look at as far as the chicken goes and said, holy cow, those cans are expensive. And indeed, compared to buying fresh chicken and canning it yourself or using your own freeze dryer, $3.77 a pound is pretty expensive, but not compared to looking at that August and Farms. In other words, my point is this: $39 a pound for chicken if you buy freeze dried. And people think in their mind, oh, well, that's great because then it lasts 30 years. So does canned chicken. Those cans are sterile inside. You're not going to have any little cooties growing, no bacteria, fungus, etc. As long as the can's intact. We have a whole different video I'll show you in the end of this, by the way, to what to look for as far as those cans go. And now we're looking at $3.77 a pound. I'll say it again. I prefer to can my own. I prefer to freeze dry my own. But if you're looking for something quick and easy, the long story short, stay away from the freeze-dried stuff. I don't care which company you go with, because you may say, oh, I go with, and the only one that comes to my mind right now is Thrive Life. Thrive Life, I only pay, $50 for my can. Understanding that situation, you're still going to be paying far more than $3.77, far more. Even if you're not paying $39 a pound like Augustin Farms, you're still probably paying $20 a pound. Even $10 a pound, even $5 a pound is more than buying just those cans of chicken. So I recommend go to canned food. I talk about this all the time. The only thing extra usually in the cans that you find typically, usually anyway, is salt. And you have to have salt. You have to have salt for electrolytes. And people talk about how salt all the time exacerbates high blood pressure or hypertension. I will tell you, do your research on this. There may be some falseness in that. In fact, there's a lot of falseness in that, by the way. So I hope this helps you out. Stockpiling canned food, in my opinion, is one of the best things you can do, because it's more than just the chicken, but obviously we're looking at fruits and veggies and you name it when it comes to canned food. It's actually in single serve or family serve cans. As long as the can stays intact, they'll last forever. In my opinion, unless you have a lot of money to throw away, don't buy the freeze-dried stuff. Freeze-drying it yourself is a different story. Canning it yourself is a different story, but freeze-dried in many not always, but in many cases is certainly not the way to go. Even on sale, you're going to find it more expensive than the cans. All right, but anyways, what do you do when the cans are possibly bad? What do you look for? Check out this video and it'll tell you exactly what to look for. So obviously you don't want food poisoning.